Well, hello, everybody. This is another year. Happy New Year. It's 2021. Uh, thank God we're safe and still alive. Welcome, everybody, to my show. This is Ahmed Entertainment. And today I have a special guest that comes from Washington, I believe.
Yes.
So we have Tommy on the show. Hi, Tommy. Good to have you on
Hi.
the show.
Hi.
How was the quarantine there in your state?
Boring as always.
Really? Did
Yeah.
anything fun lately?
No, I mean I've stayed in. I played a lot of video games, watched a lot of TV, watched a lot of Cobra Kai,
Okay.
fun stuff like that.
What kind of video games you play?
I play a lot of different things. I'm really into RPGs, like Dragon Age, Zelda. I also play World of Warcraft. I've been an avid player since it started, basically for about 15 years. And I'm really into Street Fighter and Tekken and other fighting games, which is, I guess, kind of rare, but I am. Um, but I basically play anything except for like a war game and a first-person shooter.
You're exactly like me. We're in the same boat. Um, I would give you an RPG game that you might be interested. It's basically the main character is dreaming about being the hero like for Dragon Quest. If you heard that game.
Yes, I have heard of it. I've had friends who played it. I haven't played it yet.
Yes, it's a game from Sega. It's called Yakuza Like a Dragon. You might try
Oh,
that out.
Yakuza. Yeah, Yakuza. I actually played what is that one? Yakuza 0 last year. I haven't played any others though.
Nice. So anyway, guys, I did not tell you that Tommy is a graphic designer, a fan fiction writer, and a drawer, and she loves to play video games, like what she said. So most of the video games that I talk about on the show, she plays it as well. But and what our subject is about Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai, if you could tell the viewers the story about Cobra Kai.
Okay, well, Cobra Kai basically takes off where their first three Karate Kid films left off. We see Daniel and Johnny all grown up with their own lives and their own children, but we find out sooner or later that they still have the same rivalry they had as teenagers. And this is all about their journey together, dealing with rivalry, family, and other issues as they come along and learning how to work together eventually.
So the basic story, what you said, is there any kind of like what they say, are there gonna be friends in the future or not?
Well, I would say at this point, they're what you might call in this day and age frenemies. Okay, so they have a love-hate relationship even to this day. But their children begin interacting with one another, which inevitably brings them together in each other's lives. And they have to start dealing with their own issues to kind of overcome what they've gone through as teenagers.
Let's see. Well, let me tell you this. They made a video game. It's called the
Oh, I
Cobra
didn't know that.
Kai. Yes, have you know about that? No?
No.
All right, now they did. And it's been released like a couple months ago. It's been like 2 months right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna share what I have here. Okay. And
Oh.
if you could see the video
Yep.
right here, I'm gonna make it big. And I'm gonna play it. And I want your reaction. It's a 2-hour video, just let you know. So I want your reaction in this video. So I hope you enjoy it. And this is Tommy. Let's see her reaction on Cobra Kai. The Karate Kid Second continues the video game.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah. Sorry, there's no sound in the game.
Okay, I was going
I
to ask
forgot
about
to,
that.
you know how the system when you're playing a PS4, you forgot to, you know.
Yeah, you have to hook up the sound system
Yeah,
for it.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
So it's actually this game is basically it's only for PlayStation. Just to let you know.
Oh,
Yeah.
bummer. I play games
Because
on Steam as well, so that's kind of sad.
well, I think that you could play it on Steam, I believe.
I will look for it when we're all through here.
So you remember these two characters, of course, from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. And you know what I like about Cobra Kai is it's not just like for teenagers only. It's like a family show.
Yes, it's a family show, most definitely. I mean, there's something for everybody on it. And there's more than martial arts. I mean, there's drama, there's comedy, there's just about anything you can imagine in this. The writing in the show was excellent. And of course, the cast.
Right. So what's that's Ralph I mean Daniel's daughter. What's her name? Sam, right? Sam.
Sam.
So yeah, you're gonna see the how Sam is gonna play, and you know, look at the game and see what you think about.
Okay. The movement is interesting. So is disciplined a good thing?
It's like the beginning when like they do the combos.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to have like certain hit
Mm-hmm.
in each game. See now they're in rank C.
Bullies are so 80s. I love that.
And as you see, it's like when you see the fighting style,
Uh-huh.
then you know when you hit, there are like some weird things on the controller as well. Like the programmer didn't like made it, you know, quite good. I think they just pulled it off for like a commercial. I mean, do you think like it's like a commercial thing for the show? Just make it for the kids?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as you probably know, any publicity is good publicity. So,
Right.
and they're really trying to tie into, you know, the retro feel. A lot of 80s games like this were like this. They called them beat 'em up games. So they're going for that old school 80s arcade feel. And that would appeal to the people probably who lived back then as teenagers and even kids now. Because I can tell by some of the technique that it's still built like a lot of current fighting games.
You know, I wish I had the video onto the voice, so I want you to hear the voice acting in it as
I
well.
would love to hear it. I love, when I play, I always have the sound on. There are some people that, you know, turn off video game sound, but I love video
Yeah,
game sounds. I love the music, especially. So it's kind of disappointing that I can't hear it.
I apologize for that. Technical issues. And as you can
The
see,
art for this, though, is
yeah.
fantastic. I love the art for this.
Well, as you can see, this is your first time seeing it, and I know you heard about it, but I don't know if you've seen the game. So this is
I hadn't, no. And, you know, kind of a gamer fail, but I don't have a PS4, so I play most of my PS4 games on my PC right now. So.
right.
Oh, there's the skeleton costume. Look familiar, anybody?
Yep, it's from the from part one, Karate Kid. You know, back in the '80s,
Yeah,
they dress up, Johnny Lawrence and all his gang, and
right.
you know he made Miguel dressed up like that.
Yeah. The special attacks are kind of reminding me a little bit of Mortal Kombat,
Okay.
just a bit. I mean, I Mortal Kombat is not my favorite, but obviously I've played it, so
Well,
everybody
I'm
knows
not
about
gonna say
it.
it's like my favorite fighting game. I'll just say Mortal Kombat is like number 3 in my
Yeah.
type of game. Yeah, so
Hmm.
because there are really good fighting games, like all the Japanese fighting games are like
Hmm.
my best.
Yes. Like for me, it goes Street Fighter, Tekken, and then probably Soul Calibur.
Okay.
And I like Soul Calibur because it's obviously it's a blend of RPG and fighting, and so I really like that. There's a good storyline to it. I mean, let's be honest, most fighting games don't have a good storyline because there's really no point to it.
What's the problem with Soul Calibur? Is like I'll tell you.
Uh-huh.
Soul Calibur needs more like different game versions of Soul Calibur.
Hmm.
That's what Soul Calibur needs. Is it can't be like just depending on just fighting.
Right.
I mean, when they released Soul Calibur Legends on the Wii, that was like a brilliant idea, where you play as Siegfried, the story of the protagonist of Soul
Yeah.
Calibur. Yeah, the story that tells how Siegfried hold the soul edge, and he created this villain Nightmare. So Soul Calibur, what it needs like different version uh of a game. Like you could make it as the fighting game, but like if you
Right.
remember Tekken 3,
Yes.
there is a like a game mode that you play as Tekken Force, like what we see right now in Cobra Kai,
Kind of like a mini game, yeah.
like a mini game, like a based on a story.
Hmm.
Like when you played like Tekken 5, Devil, you know,
Yes.
and
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And that's
So
kind of what that reminds me of here too as well. It was really awesome. She just threw a chair at some guys. That was pretty cool.
yeah.
Oh, now we got green skeletons. All right. Got to make it a little bit different, I guess. Maybe he glows in the dark.
And you can see the background of it too. Kids are playing
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah.
They've got interactive backgrounds, it looks like. Oh, more chairs. Look out. Oh, this should be Stingray.
I think so. Well,
Uh,
we didn't see him on season 3.
Um, no, no.
Yeah, he
It,
wasn't there.
he reminds me of this little character they just introduced. He looks like maybe Rufus
Uh-huh.
from Street Fighter 5, something like that, maybe.
Right,
Or I think it's Bob in the Tekken series.
right. Let me ask you something. Stingray,
Yeah,
does this actor look familiar to you? I think
he
I've
does.
seen him
He
somewhere
does.
before. Yeah.
He really does.
Is he the bully from Problem Child or something?
He might be, and judging by all the references he makes in Cobra Kai, he's obviously about our age, so that would fit him being that kid in those movies, probably.
Right.
And also, anybody else find it creepy that a 30-something guy is hanging out with a bunch of kids in karate? I mean, it's not too horrible, obviously, but it's just a little kind of like cringy because he's basically pretending to be a teenager again.
All in life, like because I've been going to conventions a lot,
Uh-huh.
I don't see that many people growing up to be an adult. In a business like this,
Yeah.
or in something that you really like 80s, 90s, right
Hmm.
now it's like 2000 right now. Like right now, the 2000
Yeah.
kids are going to be 20 right now.
Oh, that's scary. I was
Yeah.
already there. I don't want to think about that.
Yes, and like when like I grown up in the mid 90s and 2000s. And when I see myself, I like the more things in my generation better than when I
Hmm.
see, like something newer. Like
Yeah.
the new stuff, like when I see, I was like, it's like the same thing. Like when you go to any con, the
Yes.
con that you go to, like Comic Con or any anime con, like you go to, they dress up like the new stuff, and I don't know, I don't
Yes.
even watch them. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I definitely do because when I go to anime conventions, I don't know who anybody is. I literally don't know.
Right. Name. I mean, I don't know the anime conventions that you have in your state. So if you could
There's
tell us
quite a
about
few,
that.
but I've only been to the ones in my area, and I live in the second largest city in Washington State. So we only have the one over here, but there's several in the Seattle area over on the west side of the state. I just can't name them all specifically. And like I said, I've only been to the one where I live. I actually live maybe about 5 blocks away from where they host the convention, so it's kind of neat.
What's the name of the convention?
Convention here in town is called Kuroneko-con.
Con. Okay.
Huh?
As you hear, viewers, if you are a big fan of cons, there's Con on Washington. Just to let you guys know, like here, because I'm doing this show in Denver, so
And it might be important to make note that I live in Washington State and not in Washington, D.C. That does happen quite often. No, I'm in the other Washington. So
and the Con, what days does it take? Is it the same days
it's,
that the other cons do from Friday to Sunday?
yeah, it's about there. And it's roughly, I want to say between July and August, usually every year, depending on when weeks fall, weekends fall, they have it. And it's really interesting because it started out in the early 2000s being hosted at one of our colleges in the auditorium, and it's gotten so big now, we are now in the local opera house. So it's gotten really big over the years.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the con here before I came to the state.
Uh-huh.
So NDK Nandaskan, I know you've been hearing about it a lot.
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, so Nandaskan started in the area campus, which is a college campus. And then it went to hotels to hotels to hotels to hotels to hotels. And then finally, it's right now into a big hotel right now.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that they never try to rent it in a city building, like on the yeah, you can see that. See.
Wow, they're upside down, you guys. Holy cow, what are you doing? What are you doing, Daniel?
I don't know if he looks like Daniel. He looks older than Daniel. Like,
Well, you know, Ralph Macchio has looked about 20 for about 40 years, so I don't know.
exactly.
Actually, my opinion is, since I've been watching Cobra Kai, that when he got older, he actually looks a lot like Alan Alda now from MASH. So if
Mhm.
you guys remember MASH, you'll know who I'm talking about, Hawkeye Pierce. He looks a little bit like the guy that plays him, which is kind of weird, but I make those random connections sometimes. Oh, did a wrestling move there.
Yeah.
But the stance when they walk in this game is hilarious. I mean, I know you gotta be ready to fight, right? Uh-oh. They just give these guys like random names, like Derek.
They're random names, but you'd like see him in the show, actually.
Oh yeah, I remember this guy now.
Yeah, he's from the season um, where they're in the beach, and that
Yeah.
really look at that. Does that really look like Sam to you?
Not really, but I mean, it fits her personality. I mean, because anybody who's watched the show knows that Sam kind of started out as a goody two shoes. I mean, she's evolved since then.
Mhm.
Again, props to the excellent writing, but she kind of does look rather sweet.
Yes.
And here comes Derek, the big Hulk. Um, whoa, got some Street Fighter going on there. All right.
That's the crane kick that he used. Crane
Yeah.
kicks is not actually for karate. Just let
No,
you
it's
know.
not.
Oh, I don't know why they put it as a karate thing.
No, from what I understand, from the what I looked up on the Karate Kid movies, the crane kid kick was developed specifically by their choreographer for the movie itself. The director said, I want this style of kick. Can you do it? Can you make it work? And he did. And the rest is all history.
Right.
Because if you think about it, crane kick would lend itself more to kung fu, wushu, with the different animal types. And there are crane kicks in kung fu, so that's kind of an interesting development.
Speaking of which, because we're talking about Cobra Kai, there is an interesting subject that happened that I was just reading it today. It was on the article that they want to bring what's her name? Julia, I believe. She was in good movies, like in Marvel movies. She was the second Karate Kid.
Oh, Hillary Swank?
Hilary Swank, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen Karate Kid 4 since it came out, so
Well,
it's not my
It
favorite.
doesn't say karate. The Karate Kid 4. It says the second Karate Kid.
Well, she technically is, and I don't like thinking about it, but
Yeah.
I guess I can see why they would put her in. I mean, they're not going to ignore an entire franchise in
Well,
this show.
it
They're going
was
to put
like the
everything in.
last. Yeah, it was like the last movie of Mr. Miyagi, the
Mhm.
actor. What's his name?
Yes.
Pat.
Pat Morita? Yeah.
Pat Morita. Yeah, Pat Morita. Like when you say the name, it's kind of weird. He's what is he? Hawaiian or?
No, he is Japanese American. He's 110% American. No Japanese accent, no nothing, but he was raised by native Japanese parents, so he was able to affect the accent pretty naturally. Um,
Exactly. Okay. It's
and he
like,
was raised in the internment camps here, so he's about as American as you and I.
all right. There is another actor too as well that acted in the movie Mortal Kombat. I mean, he's in the video game. He's a native Japanese too, as well. Not
Kariyuki Tokugawa.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, Hiroyuki.
Yeah. Well, here's another fun fact too. And even though I didn't even like the movie, he acted Heihachi in Tekken the movie.
Yes, yes. I saw the first Tekken film. I have not seen the second. I'm not sure that I'm gonna.
Well, the second one looks great, but it doesn't really basically tell the story of. Like a different kind of story with Lin Xiaoyu and Alicia Baskanovic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, they did a good job as far as some of the casting goes. I mean, they had Kari Hiroyuki Tokugawa, who was also in the Mortal Kombat movies, like he was saying, as Heihachi, and I think he pulled off that role really well. And they also hired Jason Statham to play British boxer Steve Fox.
Right.
So some of the casting was okay, but it was a Canadian produced movie and it was on a pretty cheap budget. So I kind of feel like it was made like a lot of those fighting game movies in the 90s where they really didn't pay attention to the story or the characters too much. They just threw everything, all the characters together and just hope it would work, basically.
Yeah, look at his wife.
Yes. Well, now that looks like her, though.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like Amanda, yes.
You know what, though? Now that I'm looking at him a little closer, he looks like Matthew Broderick.
Right. I don't know who that is, but
Matthew Broderick was another famous 80s actor. He was in the same peer group as Ralph Macchio, of course. He was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Lady Hawk with Michelle Pfeiffer, War Games with Ali Sheedy, a lot of other stuff. He's still acting. He's married to Sarah Jessica Parker, have been for a long time. They're still together. Pretty amazing in this day and age. But basically, look him up. He's another 80s heartthrob.
nice. I would like to look it up as well. Yeah, like to see the new stuff, basically.
Well, I was a 90s teenager, so I had an obsession with everything 80s, like we all did back then, because every generation is obsessed with the generation before theirs. So I grew up on a lot of 80s movies, a lot of 80s TV shows, and a lot of 80s stuff. So I guess I'm kind of like Stingray.
Stingray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like the 80s nostalgia guy. He's like, dude, the 80s were cool, except for I was like 5, which is like everybody in my age range because I'm pushing 40. So we're all so excited about the 80s, and most of us were like toddlers in the actual
Right.
80s themselves. So any memories of the 80s we had would actually be during the 90s, ironically enough. It's kind of weird.
Right.
Oh, there goes Sam. So you can switch out?
Yes, you could switch out in the game like it's like a
Yeah, tag team.
Tag team.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's like Tekken Tag.
There's like a beat 'em up game like this, but I forget the name of it.
There's quite a few though, and I typically don't play beat 'em up games. I like my actual fighting games, but these are very nostalgic. Very nostalgic.
If you play Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
Like the same thing. See, look, did you see his move?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, what is it like? It's like they took it from Street Fighter.
I'm thinking that they did because I'm looking at a lot of stuff like Sam's high kick that she does is like Chun-Li's kick in Street Fighter Alpha games. But really, there's no actual style because you're seeing him do like a forward kick, and it's kind of weird looking. You could say he was maybe kind of like Guile, maybe. But she's definitely like Chun-Li. If you watch the way she's kicking, that's Chun-Li.
Right. Yeah.
And for anybody who's curious, I main Vega with the claw and Cammy and Chun-Li. So that's like basically my favorite Street Fighters. So I know a lot about their fighting technique. Well, not enough to be in a tournament, but enough to enjoy it. Go Sam. I love how like the bad guys here are like 2 feet taller than she is. Like the big boss guy, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if he's that tall.
No, he's not. A lot of games, especially like in World of Warcraft, they over exaggerate the size when you're
Mhm.
fighting them. And they give them twice the amount of health power than you have. So it's just basically to show you, oh, that's the big bad guy. Time to fight him.
It reminded me of Chip and Dale.
What? Why?
Classical Chip and Dale game on the NES.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and the NES, it's like, if you remember that some villains are like bigger than Chip and Dale, they make them smaller.
Right, yes. And they, like I said, they do that on purpose to make it seem harder and more intimidating.
Right. Well, Capcom did a really good job in the game, actually.
Oh, Capcom produced this?
Yeah, no. This is Sony produced
Sony,
it.
okay.
What I'm talking about is Chip and Dale, the NES game. Capcom produced it.
Oh, they
Capcom was
did. I
doing
didn't
all the
realize that.
Disney. Yeah, Capcom were doing all the Disney games
Nice.
for the
Okay.
NES. Yeah,
I think the one when I played was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
that's LJN. That's one of the worstest companies you ever see, Tommy.
Yeah,
Back
I
in
know.
the days, yeah.
I know.
They've been taking all the movies, like for example, The Karate Kid or Rambo Ackland, but it's like their cousin, basically.
Yeah.
But Ackland, the thing is when I've been seeing their games is quite not bad. But I don't
Right.
know why James Rolfe, as you know, the angry video game nerd, he
Yeah,
always
I've
chews
seen
them
him.
up, always chose them up, chews them up all the time, like,
Well, and I think it's just because it's more fun to chew up old games.
And especially like when he sees LJN, oh boy.
Oh yeah. I feel like they need to rehire the art company that did the art for this though. Like that don't look like Ralph Macchio.
Right. So
They
we're
need
just
a
gonna
new they
go,
need a new artist.
yeah, we're gonna go stop it right there. So as you know, she watched the whole game and all that, guys. So what do you think?
I think it looks really fun. And it's got a lot of nice retro send ups for all the old beat up games that came before it. It'd be a lot of fun to play.
So would you consider playing this game uh in the future?
Yeah. I'm a gamer, so I'll give any game a chance.
So if you play this game,
Yeah.
and you feel like, I feel like I just beat the game, would you play it again as a
Probably. I mean, does it have difficulty levels?
I think so, yeah, it has difficulty levels, yeah.
Well, more than likely, I probably would play it again, especially on probably maybe a higher difficulty if I get everything all figured out. There's lots of nice sort of Easter eggs and trophies to collect and achievements. I'd have to kind of keep you busy, so wouldn't mind trying it again,
Okay, what about the graphics in the game? I don't know if you saw it or not. I've been like,
Oh,
yeah, I've been like observing the graphics. The graphics of the game is more of when you see, I don't think the graphics are really quite good, because I think they just
yeah.
pulled it off like fast.
They probably did pull it off fast. As you know, game companies have deadlines. So, like I said, my overall complaint is not that the quality, because the quality of the graphic is fine. It's just they could be better. Could be more detailed. Could have a better resemblance to the characters in the show. Things like that.
So, what I'll ask you a question. I'll just ask you if a game or a company Like, for example, Capcom or Bandai Namco, will they do it better than this?
I think so. I'm getting the impression from this game that even though it was released on the PS4, that maybe they didn't have quite the budget that they should have. And I think that when you're making a game based on a show or a movie, recognition is important. They got the vague general resemblance of the characters in the game, but I honestly think they could be better. I mean, when people play things like that, they're playing to relive that movie. They're playing to relive that show.
So what I'm just gonna say, the arts of the game, like if you feel like the cutscene, do you feel like that it's a good idea to put like as in a comic book and all that to make it?
Well, I thought the comic book approach was really unique. A lot of games are doing that now, especially the Street Fighter games. They use mangas and things for cutscenes, and after you beat the game, I kind of feel like they're just kind of following a trend with that. But it was a nice comic. It just I feel kind of like it could have been cool if it done in 3D. Do a 3D render of the actors and something like that maybe instead. But obviously, this is a very traditional art-driven game, so maybe not.
Okay. Well, let me tell you the price of this game. I bought this for like $25.99. Yeah, $26.
Okay.
Yes, I bought this for $26. It's available on PlayStation store, just to know. If you need that information, you could look it up on the website. You could see if there's any PC version for it as well.
Which I'll be doing.
Yeah, well, and I know that you're like a PC gal, not a console gal as well.
Well, I am, but I guess you could say I use PCs a bit more because I do have consoles. Just don't always keep up with the latest ones.
Yeah, I'm more of a Sony guy, so you know how it is. So like.
Oh yeah. And I love PlayStation. Let me just put it that way. I've played them since the first one.
Yeah, I'm a PlayStation guy as well. Like
Yeah.
Speaking of which, there's a future announcement they SNK just announced, just to let you know that Samurai Showdown is going to be on Xbox Series.
Oh wow.
That's shocking. Yeah.
They had just released it on PC through a platform called Epic Games.
Oh, okay.
I haven't really used Epic Games that much. I have some friends that got me into an open source RPG called Outward that was on Epic, but I did see that game there when I was looking for it. So that's pretty exciting. I do know that Samurai Showdown, the original, is available for purchase on the PS3 store and probably on the basic PlayStation store.
Mm-hmm. Samurai Showdown PS3, you said?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Really?
Yes, I have it. I paid about $9 for it.
Oh, well. All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you're feeling nostalgic.
Oh, the original Samurai Showdown. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, the Epic Games platform I told you about, which is probably also producing it for the PS4, they're the ones doing the 3D rework of it.
Okay.
So if you want the original, though, the PlayStation Store should have it.
So, I mean, Samurai Showdown.
Yeah.
If they are making collections, there are a couple of Samurai Showdowns that I never played before. There are 2 3D games of Samurai Showdown. Samurai Showdown 64 and Samurai Showdown the 360 version. I did not play those yet.
I haven't either.
Do you think that they're gonna put them in a game or something, in a collection?
I would hope so, because I noticed when I was downloading the Samurai Showdown from the PlayStation Store, there is a collection there. But I would hope that they'll do like a Samurai Showdown 3D collection, or like an anniversary collection, and maybe have the original game plus all the 3D games, which I think would be really cool. Kind of like they did before Street Fighter, where they bundled all their games together for their anniversary. So I think that'd be really cool.
Well, they bundled all of them on Street Fighter Anniversary,
Yes, they did.
but what happened is they didn't put like the Street Fighter movie, Street Fighter EX Plus Alpha, the Street Fighter EX series.
Yeah,
They should do that. Doesn't make sense because it's actually a Street Fighter game.
I think those are all separate licenses. However, I will point out that at least one of the anniversary collections, I think it's the 20th anniversary. I have two of them. I have the 30th and the 20th. On the 20th edition, it does include the uncut anime of Street Fighter they did back in '94.
Right.
So they're halfway there. I mean, I don't know that they'll ever be able to get the rights for the Van Damme movie, and I'm not sure how the EX games work, if they're even on the same license. So maybe there's a reason why they
It's
don't
weird
have
when
it
you
on
say it's not in the same license and they're using their costumes right now on Street Fighter 4.
I know, it's weird. Because as I recall, I can dress up Cammy as Morrigan from Darkstalkers right now in Street Fighter V. It's just really weird. I don't know what they're doing.
Right. It's like you said, license. It's basically from Capcom. So,
Well, maybe license is not the right word. I was trying to figure out, because they're, in my brain, there has to be a reason why they're not all on there. There has to be. I don't know how well the EX games even sold. Do you?
well, it's been sold quite good, actually. People like the market when they saw like Street Fighter in a hologram, I think, version.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they seen the game, how it is, it's like basically it's more of like a crossover kind of thing.
Yes.
That's what I see. It's more of Erica characters and Street Fighter characters from Capcom. But Erica has been working with Capcom for decades, especially the main developer for Fighting EX Layer or Fighting X Layer, Fighting Layer is he worked with Capcom before with Street Fighter 2.
Okay.
Yeah, he was developed a couple of the characters, helped him out with the characters and all that. But when you see it like Street Fighter EX, okay, they put the characters from Street Fighter, excuse me, and then they put the characters from Fighting Layer, Alan Snyder and Blair. And like, these two characters are like really famous from Erica. And then they just put it as a crossover and like, you're looking like, well, it looks like a Street Fighter game to me. Don't you agree, right?
I mean, it could be, Street Fighter has had a lot of clones pop up.
Right. And I know one good clone, but it's a good game. You would play it. It's fighter's history. You would play it. Like, it doesn't look like a bad game to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard about it or not, but
I have not, no.
Yes.
But that's good. Like I said, I got more games on my list to play and I've got lots of time, so.
Right. And even though I'm the host of the show, I'm just giving you some opinions, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that game is a clone in Street Fighter, real clone.
Well, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
like I said,
it's actually the one that they made. It's a company called Data East, and they made a game like seriously like Street Fighter, but not. It's like a little bit of the moves, but it's like the same graphics.
Oh, okay.
And it's basically Neo Geo,
Yeah, Neo Geo.
It's like a sub to SNK.
Yeah.
But the characters are really good. You should check it out. Check it out.
Okay.
See it. Yeah. I mean, actually, if you're like a PC person, you said it yourself, there's emulators and just download the game and just give it a try. Like,
Oh yeah, I've used lots and lots of emulators, especially since I
Right.
don't have an NES or SNES, so I've used them a lot to play the original Street Fighters 2s before they released the whole collection. So And that being said, I do have Street Fighter on my PS3, PS2, and anything else I have. I have it on my Game Boy. Okay. I love
I
Street
mean,
Fighter.
Street Fighter has been port all over uh, controllers, and
Yeah.
especially, I watched an episode of Angry Video Game Nerd. Is that
Hmm.
you could play Street Fighter on a trigger? You know that device, the one back in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, you could play Street Fighters in those devices, and
Oh, that's
I don't know
crazy.
how much they cost. I don't know how much they made money for those stuff.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right.
Well, I know this is about Cobra Kai today a lot, but
I mean, it's Cobra Kai, but we're like talking about more of the similar to what is it in Cobra Kai,
I want to say that I came prepared. I am wearing my one of my Street Fighter shirts today.
Hey, that's fine. Wear whatever you like. I mean, like it's just that we're like in the show,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, I'm talking to you, and this is only like a thing that I wanna like discuss about and talk about it. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, since we don't have any subjects, this is a really good show. I enjoyed it. This is a good episode. We have Tommy. I would hope to bring her back. And next week, I will talk about a game. I mean, like, I will talk about Samurai Showdown, the new version, what's happening, what's going on. And with the new release of Tekken 7. And we'll see if Street Fighter 5 has an update. We'll just let you know. So, this is Tommy, everybody. And hopefully, guys, we'll see you guys next time on Ahmed's Entertainment.